With the Super Bowl I championship parade now over and title rings officially fitted, Philadelphia's biggest offseason challenge has officially begun, with Jalen Hurts' biggest influence potentially moving down south. Plus, how Cooper DeJean and Q's coach might be gearing up for a raise, and what Lane Johnson just said that makes life a lot easier this offseason for Howie Roseman and Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. It's crazy that it was just 8 days ago the Philadelphia Eagles took center stage in Super Bowl 59 and completely dominated the Kansas City Chiefs, and in just a week since, a lot has happened both outside the NovaCare complex and inside as well. First off, in case you were wondering, with the aftermath of the Eagles Super Bowl parade, or mainly did the drunkest Spurs, including Nolan Smith and Quinyon Mitchell, survive the day, well, Jalen Hurts and Cooper DeJean did confirm they are alive and well and did make it home that night.
Nolan is A-OK. I was watching him too. Nolan's all good. He's a big boy.
I know you kind of keep tabs on Q. How is he all right? Did he make it home?
Yeah. He made it home. He had a good time yesterday.
But just because the parade is over, the festivities have continued, with Eagles Super Bowl winning head coach Nick Sirianni spotted just the other day at Brewerstown Tavern in New Jersey, serving up some shots and keeping the good times flowing. Also, speaking of keeping the good times flowing, I'm going to give away another Eagles Super Bowl championship t-shirt if this video gets to 70,000 views. So if you want to enter, drop a like, be subbed, and comment down below, and one of you guys will win another one of these t-shirts. The big news of the first week without a football game at the end of it in Philadelphia has to be around coaching interviews, and not in the way we expected, aka not in terms of offensive coordinator interviews. Instead, it's other NFL teams trying to hire away some of our top guys, with the Saints and their new head coach Kellen Moore officially interviewing Birds DB coach Christian Parker for their DC opening, as well as Eagles quarterback coach Doug Nussmeier for their open OC spot. Now, this isn't a massive surprise. Most guys who were OCs that become head coaches look to previous staff members to go ahead and fill out their coaching ranks, but we need to hope and pray that Kellen Moore does not poach our guys going forward in 2025. For instance, let's start with Christian Parker, who of course was the former Broncos DB coach during the rise of the newly drafted Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain, and signed on with Philadelphia last season and was said to be instrumental in the meteoric rise of rookie secondary pieces Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. As much as Vic Fangio deserves all of the credit for turning this defense completely around from where it was in 2023, he's got 11 players total to worry about and a bunch of position coaches as well. Parker's job is solely with the DBs, and he's the guy spending every waking moment with them, from the meeting rooms to the actual practice field. Now, of course, Q and Coop are already rising stars. They're trending in the right direction. I think they're going to be superstars, not just this coming year, but for many years to come. But another year with Parker could really be the key to take them to the next level. Plus, as strong as Philadelphia secondary was this season, it's going to be very different in 2025. You're likely losing Darius Slay. Keely Ringo's probably going to be your starter. Do you let Eli Ricks play a little bit? What happens to Isaiah Rodgers? There are a ton of question marks, at least at cornerback, going forward. Now, nothing is official yet, and there is a new report this morning from ABC6's Jason Dumas that I think is a pretty good sign for Bird fans when he tweeted, quote, "There's a feeling that first-time head coach Kellen Moore is going to go with a more experienced coach like Brandon Staley, but CP, Christian Parker, has certainly made an impression." Staley, of course, spent time on Vic Fangio's staff, obviously as a head coach as well. He has the quote-unquote experience. I personally would go with Parker after what happened to the Bird secondary in 2025, but let's just hope that Kellen Moore goes the Staley route instead of the Parker route so he can stay at least one more year in Philadelphia. Now, the other potential coaching casualty that has been way less talked about the past few days is, in my opinion, more important, an Eagles quarterback coach Doug Nussmeier, who, like Parker, spent every waking moment this past year with his people, aka the quarterbacks, aka Jalen Hurts. And during this time has been rumored to be Hurts' closest coach in the entire roster. But Nussmeier's loyalty to both Kellen Moore and the city of New Orleans could mean his departure is a lot more likely, as Nussmeier was not only the Saints quarterback from 1996 to 1997, his son Garrett is about to enter his second year as the starting quarterback at a small school in Louisiana called LSU. Plus, Nussmeier has followed new Saints head coach Kellen Moore to each of his last 3 stops. Odds are Philadelphia is going to lose him. Now, at this point, you're probably thinking, hey, Kellen, go hire someone else besides our own guys. Well, bad news here. Just a few minutes ago, Adam Schefter confirmed Moore also interviewed Birds running back coach Jemal Singleton for that open OC job, describing Singleton as, quote, "a big part of what we do on offense and a rising star going forward." Now, I'd bet Nussmeier gets the call over Singleton, but don't discount how the guys in the running back room absolutely love their running back coach. And having Saquon's year as a running back coach on his resume, not a surprise again, he's getting interviews. Let's just hope Kellen goes in a different direction than any of our Eagle coaches going forward, which really is going to be the first major test of the offseason, as you add the ever-revolving door around Jalen Hurts and his coordinators, who is not only going to be dealing with the loss of an offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore, but likely his quarterback coach as well, Who the Eagles replace not only Kellen Moore but Nussmeier with is going to be key to making sure this offense does not miss a beat and maybe goes to another gear and another level in 2025. I do think, though, the good news in all of this is that Jalen Hurts is clearly exiting his quote-unquote learning mode phase as a young quarterback and is entering his quote-unquote prime phase, where he continues to learn. He's obviously going to try and get better, but his understanding of the game is already at a PhD level, which was clearly shown during his Super Bowl performance versus the vaunted Chiefs defense.
On the fourth passing play of the game, you can see that Jalen changes the play. He sees the two high safeties right here. And right here, he's going to now change it. He's either changing or checking to it right here. You can see it. Boom. As soon as he does that, the three receivers, Goddard, Devontae Smith, and Jahan Dotson right here. They all go with the play. And you're going to get one-on-one up top with Dotson against Watson. And Dotson double moves him right here. And he gets behind him. And that's all it took. No safety is going to be in a position to help him. And Jalen throws a perfect ball to him. Now, he's down at the 1 yard line. That was the first big passing play of the day. Jalen had a bunch of them. But the first one went to Dotson on the outside against Watson. He changed the play based on the coverage.
And while this will be a bummer if Nussmeier eventually gets hired, same with Parker, I have to admit, Philadelphia can obviously overcome losing one or even both of these coordinators. They technically did just win a Super Bowl, have all of their key players signed for, the next 2 to 4 years, especially on offense, and have a ton of young players as well who hopefully will keep getting better and better. But let me just say this, I hope both coaches, especially for Jalen Hurts' sake, stay on the roster. Now, staying with the Super Bowl, we got a really interesting look inside the Birds locker room the night before the Super Bowl via their YouTube channel, explaining exactly what went down in terms of the speeches that all the star players gave to go ahead and pump the team up, and they were absolutely fantastic.
All we got is one more time. One more time. To do the same shit that we've been doing all year round. I ain't got much to say, man. I'm not into that rah-rah shit. That's why I let Landon do that shit. Plus, half of you guys can't even fucking understand me. That's all we got, man. That's all we're guaranteed. One more time.
And as I watch film throughout the whole week, my confidence is even grow even more, and I hope you guys are feeling the same thing. These guys can't f with us. They really can't. I don't care how many times they've been here. I don't care how many times they won it. They haven't seen a team like this.
Last time being here, this changed my life. It changed my life, and it changed my mentality, and it changed everything. Because for so long, I was seeking. What would I do when I got this moment again? What would I do when this opportunity met me again? On the biggest stage, everybody watching. And I didn't get benched. I put on a good show. And I couldn't have done that without you guys. For all the hard work and everything that we've been able to do to this point. Just take it one play at a time. Let it come to you. And ask yourself how you want to be remembered.
I know it's only been a week since the Birds won the big game, but man, just watching not only the highlights, but those speeches as well, I still cannot believe they did it, and it just makes their schedule over the next few months all the more enjoyable. Now, when it comes to that schedule for the Birds the next couple of months, it's pretty darn simple. They're, of course, going to have their Super Bowl ring ceremony, as Philadelphia players this past week got fitted for their rings, which is expected to be revealed sometime in the summer during their second ever ring ceremony. In the meantime, the front office turns their attention very quickly to the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine, happening pretty crazy next week on February 27th. This really is some of the players' first chance to perform in front of the Bird Scouts, and obviously GM Howie Roseman, and make their case to be maybe the 32nd overall pick in round 1 of the 2025 NFL Draft. After the Combine wraps up, NFL free agency is just 2 weeks prior, as it kicks off on March 12th, and Philadelphia will have about $20 million in free cap space, and honestly, not a ton of holes to fill before the offseason period wraps up, with round 1 of the 2025 NFL Draft happening on April 24th. And I think our first indication on who the Birds might be targeting or what positions they want in the NFL Draft is going to be at the Combine, as I mentioned just next week, where we're going to see exactly who the Birds are meeting with, giving us an even greater sense of what they are looking for in terms of additions to the already stacked Super Bowl roster. Finally, in an offseason that will feature obviously some losses, especially along the defensive line, the offensive line, thankfully, is expected to stay virtually the same for the long run. Lane Johnson reiterated his pre-Super Bowl promise of not retiring after the 2024 season by adding in a tweet yesterday that he, quote, looks forward to many more years to come. Many more years for Hall of Fame right tackle. Hopefully that's 2, 3, maybe 4. That all sounds good for me, and it's probably music to Howie Roseman's ears, who might not have to spend a high draft pick on Johnson's replacement if the tweet is to be believed. Now, news over the next couple of weeks pre-free agency is going to come and go, so we'll drop videos as often as we can here on the channel when there's actually news to be had. Not just going to give you a bunch of fluff that means virtually nothing, so be sure to go ahead and subscribe. Plenty of giveaways coming up, including a 90,000 subscriber giveaway. Sub to know what's going on with that. See you here on a Monday. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.